I'll get it. Nothing?
Look at books again.
No. Where am I gonna put it? Ugh. Ugh. Oh no. Hello and welcome to my channel. So now I have to do the part 2 of the book haul. So I filmed it all in one, but of course it got way too long because there were way too many books. So it's been split into 2, and we're now going to start the second half of that book haul. So with no further ado, here we go. Next up, another super exciting find while we were book shopping. I feel like I had way more luck while we were there too with book shopping. But I got these nice giant hardcovers of The Mirror of Her Dreams and A Man Rides Through by Stephen R. Donaldson. So this is Morden's Need, volumes 1 and 2. Now, A Man Rides Through, in worse condition than this, I'll note too, has been at my local half-price books for years, but I'd never actually seen A Mirror of Her Dreams before, and so I had to grab these when I found them because they are really, really big. But I've been curious. I know this is also supposed to be a portal fantasy like Thomas Covenant is. And granted, I'm not going to read this until I finish Thomas Covenant for sure. But I was really interested, and like I said, it's just a book I'd seen for a long time as the sequel. But finding both of them, I'm like, yes. So this has, on the inside, which I did not notice before actually, it looks like a book plate, which is a little painting from Boris Vallejo, who I know I've heard of, who's done fantasy art, and it has a name, which I just Googled, and appears that maybe it was the person who owned the book, because it didn't really come up with anything. I'm not going to show it, though, because it's not particularly appropriate, and if you're familiar with Boris Vallejo, that'll probably make sense. But, so that's another strange little thing to find in there, but so there's that one. And then the next chunk I have here are largely other ones Andrew gave me as well. So first off, because he ended up getting different copies, he gave me some mass market paperbacks from Barbara Hanley, including Dragon's Bane, Night of the Demon Queen, and Dragon Shadow. So Barbara Hanley is one of those authors I have meant to read for a really long time. I know, like, specifically, I think it was Dragon's Bane. Like Brandon Sanderson said, this is a huge influence for him, and it's one of the books that got him into fantasy. So one of those authors I meant to read for a long time. So we had these mass market paperbacks he'd replaced, and I'm like, cool, all right, I will take them. And so grabbed those from him, so I'm excited to do that. So just good old school classic dragon style fantasy, of course. You can never have too many dragons. Then he also gave me his Green Rider books. I already had the first one, so he gave me these 3, which are Black Veil, First Rider's Call, and The High King's Tomb, as well as the Dream Gatherer novella with some short stories for that too. So adding to, like I said, I had the first one, so adding to my collection there as well. And Green Rider is one of those things I've heard mostly good things, some mixed things, but it's one I definitely intend to try out, so we'll be happy to do so. And then super cool, I actually found, and I already have the ebook for this that I bought a while back, but The Curse of the Mist Wraith by Janny Wirtz, which is the first book in the Wars of Light and Shadow. And I really enjoy the covers of these books. I have a couple of the others, I think actually 3 of them, so a few of the others in mass market paperback, because it's hard to find like the exact editions you want. I might try to get hardcovers at some point of them, but just the fact that I randomly found this one too, which I did not have the first one, in way better condition than the ones that I own currently as well, I was quite excited for that as well. So then next up we have, which these actually were a gift from Sharon. So I didn't buy them while I was there, but they were here at my house when I got back. So shout out to Sharon from Discord. Thanks so much. She sent me a Darkness at Sethanon and Silverthorn, which I said those in the wrong order, but books 3 and 4 technically, of the Rift War saga. So those 4 books, and I'm super, super excited to continue. I actually was really wanting to and was going to order these here pretty soon, and then she sent them to me. These are also a lot shorter than Magician, since that was 2 books combined, so I'm super excited. I loved Magician. It just was a great great book to read, and I had a lot of fun with this. So I'm really, really excited to get to it. So we then have, we'll start with the positive. So while we were at one bookstore there, they had like a copy of like more collectible books. And so my wife bought me this absolutely beautiful book. This is the Three Musketeers. And I have the Barnes & Noble leather bound for Count of Monte Cristo, which is the Alexander Dumas that I like more. But this book, absolutely beautiful. And it's got this like copper inlay that actually, like, I don't know exactly what material this is. But it is very thick. Very, very well made, and it doesn't honestly. It looks and feels almost like it's some sort of like copper thread. I don't know, but absolutely beautiful book. Got the like gilded edges, and this is absolutely beautiful, and I love this. So this is immediately going onto the pretty bookshelf. I am super, super happy with this book. It is just beautiful. And so I didn't want to buy it because it wasn't crazy, but it was like $40, I think. So that's still a lot for a book. And so my wife is usually nice enough to buy me some of the more expensive books I'm not willing to buy myself every now and then. So then I said we're going to do the positive first. So this one actually is not technically part of this haul, but I got it before filming this finally. Which it is a beautiful book, but I finally got my Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. And this is a really like beautiful, well-made book. Problem is, for one, it took forever, and their communication was absolutely terrible the entire process. So that wasn't super fun. And apparently the fulfillment company that they sent it with was awful, and they've now cut ties with. But here's the box it came in, which I'm going to cover my actual stuff, but all nice and beat up and a little too big. So it rattled around, and there's some very, very minor damage. It's just the corners, which you probably can't even see, are like a little smudged. And there's one of the corners on the dust jacket itself that's not particularly great, just because it wasn't shipped well. It was wrapped in bubble wrap, which I paid specifically extra to have it like packed better, and it was packed not great. But the book itself, very, very beautiful. Here is the naked hardcover, and then it is signed. So I was so excited to get this. Fortunately, even if they put the rest out, I don't think I'll order from Broken Binding again, based on my experience. But the other thing I want to mention is how hilariously large the print is in this book, because this is not that long of a book. To make it in hardcover, they had to make the print really super large. But it is still beautiful. It is still going to go on the fancy bookshelf, probably. And like the dust jacket's very, very well made, too. It's kind of an oversized one. But so, very beautiful book. It just was, Broken Binding was a nightmare to deal with for me. And so I know other people have ordered from them and been fine, but I know like their whole subscription thing, what I've been hearing, has been kind of a nightmare too. So probably won't order from them again, but I'm really happy to finally have this book, and it is very beautiful and as advertised for looking cool. I keep showing that because that's just very interesting. I don't have any other books that have like stenciled art like that, so that's really, really cool. So that is that one. So then the rest of what I have are all from Book Outlet. Because I did make one Book Outlet order because I'm only human and I didn't know I was going to have all this. I ordered the Book Outlet stuff before I went and visited Andrew and bought all these books, and it also was waiting for me when I got back with all of those books. So it made me feel worse, but what can you do? So I've already mentioned Prey in my TBR video, so I won't dwell on that too much, but I'll be reading that this month. That's actually why I placed the order, because I was just kind of scrolling and chatting, and then somebody wanted to buddy read this. I'm like, it's literally on Book Outlet. Why not? I'll get it. And I did get a few other books as well, including Fury of a Demon by Brian Naslund, continuing my tradition of buying a whole series before I have read any of them. But I got the first 2 books on Book Outlet, and so I'm like, I might as well get the third. So this will join that collection. Keeping up the tradition of having covers that would have never ever made me purchase the book if people hadn't told me that the series is actually really, really good. So it's good to see some things don't change. We then have the I need free shipping and had to order one more book, and I like Paper Mill Classics, so I got the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, one of the few Paper Mill Classics that they have on Book Outlet that I have not already got. But I've never actually read Sherlock Holmes, so I figure that's something for someday for my shipping book. I then got... I literally just said my tradition of buying later books and series I haven't even started. That's what the last two are as well. We have Silence of the Solari, which is the sequel to Solari. Solari, I remember, because that was pretty recent as well. That one I actually got at half-price books, and then I happened to see the sequel on Book Outlet, and I'm like, oh, cool. Because that's like the Emperor's royal family are like apparently extremely long-lived, but nobody has seen them in like many, many years, so people start like wondering like, or what's going on? Are they still alive? Are we free now? What's going on? And so that's kind of that. So I just figured I'd grab it. And so I thought, why not grab the sequel? And then for one, I would have been tempted even if I didn't have the other two books. But look at this freaking cover. So When the Goddess Awakes by Howard Andrew Jones. This is book 3 in the Ringsworn trilogy. I already have the first two, and just like look at that. Like, that is a fantastic cover. Like, you picked a fantastic cover. I'm really excited, even more excited to read this now. And I have, like I said, the other two, and none of them are super long. So hopefully this is a series I can get to before too terribly long. And I will be, I'll be really excited to get to that as well. All right, so once again, like I said, in the first part of this book haul, let me know your thoughts on any of the books that I talked about there, anything you thought was cool to see, and just kind of any reactions in general, anything I should bump up. Always love to have those comments. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description for the Wizardly Duo Discord if you want to chat these books, any books, really anything at all. It is a lot of fun, and we would love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.